Good morning, LEGO fans. Potentially a little bit of a controversial video for you guys today. I don't know what you guys think of this new idea that LEGO seem to be building on a lot with these LEGO figures. We have previously had sets for these on the Star Wars theme, having the classic sets with Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, stormtroopers, and I think those have been quite interesting sets. Not ones in particular that I'm interested in, but LEGO are branching out now and trying to get more of these sets out, mainly based on the Marvel theme. Now, interestingly, well, obviously a bit later on in the day from when I started filming this video, I found out about some other figure type sets that LEGO made in 2012. There were two different series that were done both with the Marvel and DC. Now, the DC lineup included characters such as Batman, the Joker, and Green Lantern, and Marvel at the time created the Iron Man, Hulk, and Captain America figures. Now, interestingly, these ones had very new type of pieces, with each having individual face molds, and just some quite quirky looking sets, a bit of a mix of a sort of a Bionicle type set. Another set that seemed to copy this figure theme was later on in 2014 with the LEGO Shima, a series that didn't really hit the ground running, not overly popular amongst LEGO fans, but had some quite nice minifigures and some interesting ideas over the years. One that my son has recently found out about, and they have quite a lot of the characters on their keyrings for their rucksacks. But yeah, some interesting ideas and those sets. Back to the video. We had a few released last year, with notably the Spider-Man, both the classic Spider-Man, but also the Spider-Man Miles Morales. Then we had an Iron Man set and a Venom set. And recently, LEGO have also released an Ant-Man figure as well. And notably are going to be releasing 3 more this summer. We've got the X-Men Wolverine, we've got Batman, and we've got Captain America. So, I don't know what you guys think, but for me, personally, I really just don't like them. Now, I'm sorry if that's controversial, but obviously everyone's entitled to an opinion. And if you disagree with me, fine, leave a comment and tell me what you think. I think there's some really interesting aspects to it. Personally, the Wolverine one is the one I find most interesting, but that's probably because I absolutely binged the X-Men animated series when it came out in the late 90s. That was always something that would be on my TV. I can still hear the theme tune in my head very, very regularly, and quite exciting that Disney are producing a new series which is a direct continuation of that series, and it is currently streamable on Disney Plus in the UK. Not that I'm necessarily advertising for Disney Plus, but it's just a great series. So if you do want to watch a series that, in my opinion, has some of the best characters in the entire Marvel collection, but also really goes over some interesting and really challenging and ethical topics in the series. So for me, growing up, it was a series that I found really fascinating from that point of view. So looking at some of the other sets, I understand the Batman one. I think that's quite a good looking set, actually. But the Captain America one, I really, really dislike. And I think for me, the main problem that I've got with it is that the heads are all these kind of mask shapes. Again, it makes sense if you've got a character who wears a mask. So the Spider-Man one, the Iron Man one, the Wolverine one, the Batman one, yeah, they kind of make sense. And I understand theoretically the cowl that Captain America wears obviously kind of covers half of his face. I just think it's a weird idea. I don't like, in particular, the small mechs that LEGO have made, and they've made a load of those for the Marvel series recently. They're just all the same. There's not a huge amount of variation in them apart from colors and a couple of little printed elements. And I think this is probably continuing in the same vein. But to be fair, growing up, I had a lot of friends who grew up with action figures, things like Action Man. My brother and I had a load of G.I. Joe figures when we were small, He-Man, those kind of things. So I can understand the desire for figures of that kind of playable aspect to it. And I know that's not something that's quite as much of a hit with children nowadays compared to as it was back in the 80s and 90s. But they're just not overly playable, I think. they are a very mixed bag in terms of the aesthetic. So I'm not sure. For me personally, I just don't really get what we're trying to make in this, because when you're playing with Lego to the degree that you play with an action figure, your Lego figure is going to fall apart, which is not the same as it would if you had, one of the classic G.I. Joe action figures or something along those lines, Power Rangers, all of those kind of things. I remember spending hours with my old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles figures, and they're still complete to this day, even though they're now being played with, the younger generation, so my children and the younger children in my family. So those are things that will last for a lot longer if they're looked after reasonably well. Whereas with the same idea for a Lego figure, it's just going to get broken up. You're going to lose the pieces. You're never going to be able to kind of fit it completely if you're a child. And for me, therefore, I just don't think it works. So please, guys, tell me what you think. Do you agree with me? Do you not? It's really interesting to share some of our views in the community. Thank you for those who've been leaving comments on my videos recently. It's always nice to hear from like-minded people. And if you like the videos, consider hitting that like button, consider subscribing, help my channel grow. Thanks a lot for your time, and hope you're all doing well. Thanks, everyone.